Are you currently leading a group of people towards a common mission? And are you noticing that when it comes to leading groups, sometimes human behaviors are unpredictable? So what I want to share with you today is there are 3 key strategies that have been field tested and proven how you can implement these 3 strategies to be able to elevate your team to their full potential. Strategy number 1, help them get clear on the mission objectives. Now notice I said mission objectives, not just simply objectives. Because here's the thing, every individual on your team, they have their own objectives. And usually the objectives are very personal. And it could be something like objectives they have their own life, their relationships, their own career growth, their promotionary path down that industry. Whatever it is, they have their own objectives. But the mission objectives is where you can create cohesion among your team members. The mission objectives must be transparent. What are the mission objectives? What are we working towards? What is the vision that you're working towards? The better future, the better version of the future that you're working towards as a team. So it's really important that even the most junior person on your team can understand and to be able to also vocalize what that mission is and what that vision is. So the moment that you can communicate it at all levels of management beneath you and to every team member in such a way that they are clear on it, there is not unclear, there's no misunderstandings. As soon as every team member can understand it, now there is union, cohesion around the mission objective. And this is how you can begin to empower them to be able to know where we're working towards. Because that's what the purpose of the mission objective is. It tells your team members, what are we working towards? Yes, they might know everything you're working on. Yes, they might they might be aware of what which projects are currently ongoing. They might know all of these things. And for some of them, they might know all of their tasks and their responsibilities too. But without an understanding of the mission objective, it's very difficult for team members to be on board. It's very difficult for team members to be on the same page. And it's also very difficult for team members to stay motivated. And that's exactly what creates cohesion. So that's why strategy number 1 is to help them, every individual team member, help them to understand what are the mission objectives. All right, so what have we covered so far? Strategy number 1 was to help them get clear on the mission objectives. That follows to strategy number 2, help them get closer to the mission objectives. Helping them get closer. Notice the way that was phrased. You're helping them to get closer. But how do they know that they are moving closer? That's the first problem. And the way that they can know that they're getting closer is that they can see their progress, they can see their momentum, so that therefore there are measurements in place, there are appropriate metrics in place, and there is transparency around those metrics, and people know what their goals are. Yes, by now they should be clear on what the mission objectives are, but are they clear on the steps to get there? On what are their commitments that they need to take to get there? What are the responsibilities that they need to have and hold in order to get there? And these are the ways that you can help them to get closer to the mission objectives. More importantly, it is understanding where are their strengths and their core competencies. Where are the areas in which they value most, that is most important to them. And therefore, when you are clear on that, you can clearly articulate to them how being able to work towards these mission objectives, how is that activity in and of itself, how is that going to help the individual team members achieve their own personal objectives? So then they are truly congruent and aligned with being on board with the mission objectives. If the moment they can see how it's helping them to achieve their personal values and those personal objectives, they're going to be more motivated and they're going to be more aligned with the objectives of the whole team. So moreover, the transparency is there, they can know their progress towards goals, but more importantly, it is about you as the team leader creating an environment that is promotive to self-discovery. So what do I mean by that? As a team leader, one of the responsibilities we naturally take on is this responsibility of giving our team members feedback. And we give them feedback when things are going very well. We give them acknowledgement, we validate and we praise, right? But when things don't go quite well, or when we see gaps, then this is where there's a lot of hesitancy with respect to, well, how do I give negative feedback? How do I tell them that things aren't quite the way they should be? Or how do I tell somebody they're not quite performing where I need them to be? So there's a lot of hesitation around that, and there could be a lot of hurt feelings around that as well. But instead, I always say, instead of negative feedback, what if you were able to create an environment where there is opportunities for self-discovery? And once there are these opportunities, it's about the individuals discovering for themselves the gap that is needed for their personal development, but more importantly, that you can be there to support that journey. Because make no mistake about it, yes, they're on your team, they need to perform well on projects, on responsibilities, and on their role. They need to perform well on that. But in order for them to perform well on that, this is a personal development journey for them. Each member of your team is going through their own personal development journey. So how can you create an environment that is conducive to that more important journey? So if you're a team leader and you have a team of individuals that are reporting to you, or you're responsible for them, and you're somebody who desires to step up into higher levels of leadership, and you want to be able to coach for success, you want to help your team members now, presently, and in the future, you want to be able to manage more people, to coach and mentor more people. If that is you and you understand the values of these skills, then I invite you to work with me. Check for a link somewhere below this episode. There will be a link for you to submit an application, and this is where either myself or someone from my team is going to have a conversation with you to explore how we can help you and how we can support you through this process. And if things are the right fit, then you're going to be invited to join a group of high-level team leaders just like yourself. And this is where every week I provide support, mentorship, guidance as well on how you develop these skills and so much more with respects to communication, leadership as well, and how to intrinsically motivate your team, how to ensure that there is momentum, and how to ensure that team members are on the same page. So if you're serious about developing these skills for yourself, then look for the link below this video, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the inside. So in summary, 3 strategies. I still have 1 more to go. Strategy number 1 was help them get clear on the mission objectives. Strategy number 2, help them get closer to the mission objectives. And finally, strategy number 3 is to help them get confident on their objectives. So when it comes to confidence, this is where it's important. All the previous steps above, having the accountability of metrics, having the clarity of the mission objectives, having the clarity of their commitments and their goals and their targets, and having transparency and clarity on the mission as well and the vision that move towards. When taken together, this elevates the confidence of your team. And when taken together, it helps your team members to see exactly where they fit into the bigger picture of things. And as a result of that, they can increase their confidence knowing that they are in the right place. And they can increase their confidence knowing that they are operating in their core competencies. So with that, I have another video coming up, and it's coming up right up next. And this is about how you can step up into becoming an A-player visionary for your team. So if that's something you're serious about as well, developing your team leadership, then coming right up next is that video. I'll see you there.